Yeah, I cheated and made 2 top 5s in this video, but there's nothing you can do to stop me. As with every single year, there have been a lot of talks about a Zombies Chronicles 2, and I just wanted to take a little moment to say these are the maps that I want to have remastered more than others. So I've got 5 here that I picked out that we're going to go through. The only rule here is that they can't have been remastered before. So if a map was a part of the original Zombies Chronicles, it's not going to be here. Goodbye World at War. Every one of those maps came back in Black Ops 3, so we're not covering any of those, and that's just how it's going to work. Reimaginings, those are still going to be on the table. So for example, Classified being a remake of 5 leaves both of those maps on the table because neither have been remastered directly. Now there's no better place to start than number 5, Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead has been my favorite Black Ops 1 map for quite a long time, and even with the fact that I don't really like George, I really like the rest of the map and even can handle George at times. It's just he's a bit annoying in my opinion. I love the Wonder Weapon. Not weapons, the Wonder Weapon, the Scavenger on Call of the Dead, and I'd love to see it come back again. The sound is amazing, the look is amazing, the explosion effect is boom, beautiful. I think there are enough spots in the map where you'd be able to move functionally within modern mechanics, but it would be a little bit tough, so that is why this one's at 5. I just don't think it would play super well in modern mechanics, but I think there's a chance it could do well, and I would like to see it back, so we're going with that at number 5. Number 4 is going to be Mob of the Dead, which is one of my favorite maps ever, and I would love to see it again. Much like Call of the Dead, there are probably not that many spots that would be helpful for modern mechanics and super sprinters and things like that, so it is a bit of a tough transition most likely to get this map into Black Ops 7, but I think it would be worth it because this map is amazing and I just love playing it, and I'd love to play it in a newer updated setting, and I think that that could be a lot of fun to see it look even better than it already does. Number 3 is probably the hardest of these to bring back, but I still really want it, so I'm putting it here, and that's Buried. I prefer Mob of the Dead over Buried, but I think that Buried has so much charm and casual appeal that it would be really nice to put into a Zombies Chronicles 2 because it's going to appeal to so many more people, including hardcore people. They can still like it, of course. Problem is, it is a very tight map, and I can just imagine how brutal it would be to kind of run around at all. It feels like the Paralyzer would be more of a crutch than ever before. But hey, by the way, the Paralyzer could come back. That's pretty sick. Number 2, I've got Dead of the Night. There are plenty of spots where you could run around without there being much of an issue, even though it is like a house map and it is a bit more constrained. There are still plenty of open spots around it that make it where this would be feasible and probably amazing because the map itself is amazing. Alistair's Annihilator? Hell yeah. The boss fight with the werewolf? Hell yeah. The vampires can be there too? I don't really care. They were never that big of a deal to me. Whatever. Bring them in. New enemy type. Great. This being such a deep map and a difficult map and a complex map means it's unlikely to get remastered before a lot of things just because it's not going to, again, appeal to a ton of people, but I would love to see it come back. And my number 1 map that I think should be remastered is Ancient Evil. Oh yeah, I'm going for it. I know this is probably not going to be very popular, and you're probably wondering why not something from Black Ops 3. And again, it's going to be hard to get those maps into a modern mechanics setting. But Ancient Evil, not so much. That's a pretty open map, all things considered. I think it would be incredibly fun to run around this map in an updated Black Ops 7 engine. It would look great. It already did before. It'll look great now. You're going to get a set of 4 Wonder Weapons that are all really fun and again would look cool. I would love to be able to bring down the sun on my enemies just like I could in Black Ops 4 and do it again in Black Ops 7. The special enemy is something I'd love to see again because he's just this huge lumbering guy that follows you around, and he is an asshole, but it would be fun to deal with him, I think, at least in a modern setting, because he is a little bit slower. A lot of the bosses we get now, they're really quick and difficult to deal with in that regard, but this guy is slower and it's going to require you to kind of work around him, but not be pushed around consistently like you are with a Zerso that's eating your ass. The boss fight arena is also something that would work really well inside of Black Ops 7 because we've seen those launch pads just as recently as Reckoning in Black Ops 6. Use those to get around, and the only thing I think would be a change is that the boss isn't going to be damaged by special weapons anymore because we don't have the specialist weapons, so it's going to have to either be field upgrades, which would suck because of the charging nerf, or, I don't know, here's an idea, let me damage the boss with my fucking guns. That's an idea, okay? That'd be a cool change they could make to that boss fight. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Ancient Evil is the map that I want to see back more than any of the other maps, and I would love, love, love to see it come back into Black Ops 7 if they were to do a Zombies Chronicles 2, which I doubt, but still, we're here coping and hoping, so let's roll with it. I'm sure there's probably some people wondering about Tranzit and why I haven't put that in here. I would have agreed that Tranzit could have used a remaster. I may not have been a fan of it, but it definitely deserved a second chance. However, with Ashes of the Damned taking that concept that is Tranzit and doing it just better in every single way, I don't really see a reason to remaster Tranzit. If I ever want a Tranzit-like experience, I know it's not one for one, but if I want a Tranzit-like experience, I'm going to play Ashes of the Damned, and I'm going to actually have fun. And I did mention in the opening that there are 2 lists, so why don't we talk about what that's going to be? Considering that these maps run on old mechanics and the game they'd go to is focused on modern mechanics, I worry that these maps probably wouldn't play very well, which I've already covered. So I'm going to cheat and give you the 5 that I want to see remastered that either have modern mechanics already in some form or would possibly work okay with modern mechanics. Bear in mind, I won't add in any Black Ops 6 maps, as I believe that those should simply just be ported to Black Ops 7. That being said, this is my top 5 maps that I think would actually work in a Zombies Chronicles 2. Not necessarily what I hope for, but what I think would actually work if they were to go this route. My number 5 is Tag der Toten. It is a nice map. It is just about as open as Call of the Dead, because it is Call of the Dead, but it's got some extra areas, and they won't have to worry about coding in a George at all. I think the way that this map plays, considering it is newer than Call of the Dead, plays a lot more similarly to a modern game than Call of the Dead does. I think if you're going to be comparing Call of the Dead and Tag der Toten, the one that's going to play the best in modern mechanic settings is going to be Tag der Toten, which is why it's here now instead of what I really would hope for, which is Call of the Dead. I'd be very curious to see the Wunderwaffe sniper brought back in and how they'd handle that. I'd be very curious to see the Tundra gun. How would they handle the Pablo Marinez stuff? I just want to see that happen again. I'd love to be able to do this Easter egg again, and maybe they'd even be able to do a second run of this and make an actual boss fight. I don't think they would actually do that, but it would be interesting to see if they took the second chance to change how this map ended in Black Ops 4 and do it again. My number 4 is 9. 9 is a relatively open map in quite a few spots. The lower part of the map is going to be challenging, but it's also really hard in Black Ops 4 mechanics if you get caught down there, so it's not like that would be a total difference compared to the map itself when it was in Black Ops 4. Much like with Tag der Toten, I do want to see the boss fight done again, but this time, instead of how we did it with Tag der Toten, we can just keep it mostly the same. I thought it was a really good boss fight, and I would love to see it again, so please give it to me maybe? My number 3 is Maschine. So this is where we get into maps that already have modern-like mechanics. This is Cold War. It was the start of the modern era. Maschine brought so much life back to the zombies community when it was getting hyped up and when it launched that I think it just deserves another shot at getting the spotlight, and it would improve so much through having cursed mode and just the current Black Ops 7 mechanics. My number 2 follows pretty much the same argument, and that is Mauer der Toten. Again, Curse Mode would make it a ton better. A graphical improvement is desperately needed from Cold War to Black Ops 7. Being able to play both of those maps with Curse Mode, or just in standard with the current day Black Ops 7 modern mechanics, is going to be so much better than it was in Cold War. I would love to see these 2 maps get a shot again at their redemption arc, and I want them back. I want them in a Zombies Chronicles 2 if I can get it. I know these maps aren't very old, but I don't really care because Black Ops 3's Zombies Chronicles had Origins, which was the last map from the game right before Black Ops 3 Zombies. And my number 1 does remain the same, so we don't have to go very far, Ancient Evil. I do genuinely believe that this map could play very well in modern mechanics, so it is going to stay on both lists as something I really want, and also something that I think could genuinely work if they were to bring it back. So please give me Ancient Evil again. But that just about does it. Those are my 2 top 5 for maps I want remastered and maps I want remastered, but actually I think would work well if they were to be remastered. This video was one I was going to do later, but I decided to push it forward because it's going to be a shorter video that I can just hop in and work on. The reason I wanted a video like that now is because I have recently moved, and now that I've been in my new space for a few weeks, I'm realizing that I haven't really been making videos, and I'm not sure why. I feel like somewhere in my head it feels like I can't anymore. I don't know why or where that's coming from. So I wanted to take a shorter video, something a little more simple, and just work on it and kind of, I guess, prove to myself that I was still able to make videos. I'm not really sure what was going on in my head, but this is where I ended up deciding I should just sit down, work on this video. It'll be a bit shorter, get my feet back under me again, and hopefully then that'll open up the door for me to actually work on some of these bigger videos that I have planned, because I do have some longer videos I want to make, but it seemed really daunting to work on a video that's going to end up being 30 minutes when I'm in this headspace where it feels like I can't do it. So either way, I'm at the end of this recording, so that means I'm getting somewhere. I actually sat down and recorded after writing out an idea and getting this thing planned out. So we're making progress. That's good. Hopefully I can get this thing out soon, and then I can start working on other stuff. And then hopefully Paradox Junction comes out soon and it's not shit. I hope. But that does it. So thank you for watching, especially if you stayed through to that ending ramble that I just had there. I appreciate you sticking around through the video. I'm going to be back with more stuff soon, hopefully, and I will see you when we get there. So until then, thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.